For years, TBTL has been delighting audiences worldwide.
That's so good.
Now imagine actually owning the most memorable moments from this unforgettable show.
It's a meme-ish
It's a meme.
thing.
I actually couldn't think of the word meme for a second. I could only think of the word dank. Weird.
Well, now you can with the TBTL Greatest Hits album.
That is a joke on top of a joke on top of a joke.
You'll laugh out loud at Luke and Andrew's patented humor.
Do you follow?
Perch on the edge of your seat as they describe their adventures.
I made soup, Andrew. I made soup.
And feel your eyes fill with tears as they open their hearts.
Oh, wow. It didn't seem sad until you put those words in that order.
This handsome vinyl album can be yours, but only if you act now, as it's sure to sell out.
Hit me. I need the money.
Call 206-414-TBTL to get your copy of this instant classic.
Bada boom.
That's 206-414-8285.
It's just all farts.
Get yours today.
TBTL.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's Friday. Gonna get down on Friday.
Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
What have you been up to lately?
I'm trying to be a better person. I still have a few evil tasks I gotta do, though.
Well, there's that fine line between, showing emotion and being a hot dog.
The comedy factor speaks for itself. It's just painfully obvious. Yeah. It's an unfulfilled prophecy. It just has to be played out.
Oh, what a fun way to say a normal thing, right?
www.this and www.that. Let's www.explain it.
All right, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Friday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
They've never touched anything in their lives. Let them touch those things for once.
My name's Luke Burbank. I'm your host.
I've got 2 ears, and they're tuned to the listening station.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hills studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
Bring it back home, baby. Bring it back home.
So nice to be back here in my home environment. I woke up in New York City very early this morning and got on an airplane and flew out here. And here we are looking out at just an absolutely gorgeous Friday.
Oh, Ma, Pa, it's just beautiful.
As we've arrived, my friends, at episode 4752 in a collector's series.
Let the fun begin.
I was in New York City last night. I was watching our friend Television's Chris Hayes make his television show All In on MS Now. And I was waiting for him in hair and makeup. Politician walked by and I fist bumped them for some reason.
I wish I hadn't done that.
I don't really know. I think I just panicked or something. I don't know. We could talk about that. Also, we've got, of course, the TBTL-a-thon 17, Jumping for Joy, coming up July 13th through the 17th in Valley City, Ohio, and we are going to be taking part in the Valley City Frog Jump, but we need to figure out the name for our frog, and we have got a list of submissions from the listeners.
Oh, hey, y'all said my name.
Which we will go through here, kind of see where we're at with that stuff. This guy's got a name. It's Andrew Walsh, which is obviously pretty obvious to those of you listening to the show.
Just study it out and you'll see.
But did you also know that he's the longest-running Cobra of the program, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships, and that he's joining me right now? Good morning, my friend. I'm going to just keep ending every statement like it's a question to you. Andrew.
Luke, how do you
Yes?
feel about Mr. Ribbit? I like Mr. Ribbit as a frog name. If it's
Ribbit.
If it fits.
If it's a boy.
If it's a boy.
Did I hear you pausing there because you didn't know if Mr. Ribbit's is actually a boy frog name, and also if we talk about frogs in that way anymore, if we assume that a quote-unquote boy frog will be Mr. Ribbit's, but a woman frog, a female frog, couldn't be Mr. Ribbit's?
I actually do think you're right. Mr. Ribbit's works either way. I was thinking, if we have a girl frog, we wouldn't name her Mr. Ribbit's, but I actually think Mr. Ribbit's works across the board. I am thinking, and I don't think this is the right time to have this conversation right at the beginning of the show, I am thinking about something that I saw on Blue Sky recently that really got in my head. which is actually more of a serious conversation because I think that this person is doing something foolish in referring to her cat with they, them pronouns.
Oh, interesting.
That was something that I saw on Blue Sky, and I realized that she was engaging in a conversation about her cat, and somebody wanted to talk to her about her cat. Now, the stranger online didn't know the gender of the cat, I'm assuming.
Right.
So they just said, oh, is that their favorite toy or something like that? I think that's great. I think for language, we need to embrace that more and make it a little bit less awkward, just grammatically speaking, because traditionally that is not how we speak. I think, oh, is that their favorite toy? Like, that makes total sense to me. But then when the person responded, the person who lives with the cat and presumably knows the gender of the cat, continued to use they, them pronouns, I sort of felt like this was a well-meaning person who is potentially doing damage to the cause of using preferred pronouns
for using
exactly.
They, them
I felt
for
like
humans.
Yes, I feel like you're taking the lesson to a place that makes it more difficult to explain to people why this is important when we're talking about human beings. Is that a
you could definitely
understandable way for me to put it?
Definitely be giving. You could be giving the wrong people some ammo.
That as well. I hadn't thought of it that way. That's even more of a direct thing. Yes.
To me, it's like where I tend to fall. Oh, by the way, we do have somebody else who's on the show today.
Oh, wait, he's leaving the room for some reason. He doesn't want to talk about this.
Where's he going? He doesn't want to talk about
come back. Hey.
Pet pronouns. He's John Sklarov.
Hey, Romano.
He's our TBTB brother and TBTL employee numero uno. Welcome to the show, John.
Yeah, hey, this is the exact conversation I want to walk in on.
Yeah,
it's the beginning of the show, too. This isn't like we're burying it in the Badlands. The music is still underneath us.
I mean, where I have landed on so many things around stuff having to do with gender and pronouns and just like choices that people make about their lives and how to express themselves. So much of it for me just falls into the category of like, I don't know, is that making my life any harder? No? Then, hey, go for it. That's just like, when I bump up against anything I don't understand, I generally just think, well, that's not impacting me. Whether it's trans swimmers or you name it, But so
it used
on the
to
one
be
hand,
a respectable sport, Luke. That's all I'm saying. Like we just,
it was when I was writing about it for the University of Washington Daily. That was my beat. Okay, Andrew, I know a little bit about college swimming, but so on the one hand, do I know the answer as to whether pets have, let's say, sort of different? Is there a spectrum of pet gender that I can identify? I don't know if I can. Does it mess with my life if someone is referring to their pet using they, them pronouns? Absolutely not. Does not hurt me. But it is the kind of thing that will end up in the New York Post. And and so just a thought, maybe a strategic thought that the one, the unintended downstream effect of that could be if the New York Post if Kristen Fleming finds out that someone is describing their cat as having they, them pronouns, that could help them easily write a column. And I don't want to make their life any easier, but that's just me.
No, I'm with you on that. I hadn't thought about it in that way. That's a more precise criticism, I think. And I'm
wearing a blazer today.
Yeah,
so
I noticed.
I came here to be precise.
Mr.
You know why I'm
TV
wearing this? I ran out of clothes. These are the only clean clothes I had at the end of my trip.
But and for me, it's just sort of like it is like for those who maybe are not as familiar with the show, maybe dipping in to listen. Like you and I strongly believe in using people's preferred pronouns always,
Yes.
and talking to and about and with people the way that they ask us to is incredibly important to me. So therefore, and again, this was not somebody who was trying to make a big thing of it. It was just like a conversation about a cat, and I just happened to notice that. And this is also a person who I follow who I've never met in real life before, but we joke around together during Mariners games. She's a Mariners fan. Like, she's somebody who I basically is like sort of like, I only know her through Blue Sky, and I think of her as a seemingly very good person who these causes are also very important to. But that was one where I was like, I just don't know if that's helpful in this case.
Yeah.
If we are trying to kind of get more folks on board with the idea of engaging in these ways with our fellow brothers and sisters out there, if you're applying it to cats, I don't think that there's a great argument for that. Maybe I'm totally dumb about this. Maybe somebody can write in and tell me why I'm off base, especially as somebody who would be described more as an ally, if anything. It just was sort of like,
Yes.
I don't know about this one, my friend. Like,
it would be difficult. My question would be, how would the pet indicate to you their gender identity in really any direction other than the physical?
I think that, I guess maybe the argument could be what I started by saying, which is, there, aside from the social aspect of this, there is the straight up grammatical issue of this. Like, built into our language, we don't have a genderless singular pronoun, right? Is that how you would put it, or third person pronoun or whatever it is, except for they, which then becomes plural. Like, it actually is a grammatical issue too that I think some people just maybe struggle with. And so maybe by just kind of generally speaking of people when specificity isn't necessary, just being comfortable by saying, oh yeah, that's their favorite toy. I guess there's no harm in that from a language perspective.
I think we actually do that. I think you and I kind of have started to default to that a bit on the like dazzling donor messages and things. If somebody maybe doesn't specify their gender, or if the name isn't a really clear indicator, and it's honestly a lot. It's a lot easier to just kind of not have to guess at that, or to just make sure that you're not, accidentally misgendering someone or whatever. So yeah, I think a little more just at the default setting be like that. Like, for instance, Bubbles. If Bubbles is doing something with Holly, I could say that's their favorite part of Holly's butt to lick.
Yes,
because that's and now we're getting into a whole other category, which is are Holly and Bubbles domestic partners? Because I can tell you their lovemaking is furious and
vigorous
and obvious.
And
it is
gone from good to
enviable. Enviable, would you say?
Well, you'd have to ask Becca about that. I certainly envy it. It is a bacchanal down there with those two. Let me just tell you. So what do you think the gender of your dogs are, John?
Well, actually, I'm very heteronormative, so we call Manon Princess, or Girly Pop is the one that she often gets, and I exclusively dress her in pink clothing.
Love it.
To be very clear,
Absolutely,
and Benny
love
is
it.
the man of the house when I'm not around. So that's.
Do you have any songs?
Yeah.
Have you and or Jess? Have you guys? Do you have any improvised songs that you sing? Remember, we did a whole episode about this, songs people sing to their pets. I don't think I've ever had a pet that I didn't, without ever intending to, just somehow start singing absolutely lunatic songs to.
With Thor and Modi, we used to kind of like have these little, like, he's such a great guy, kind of like with a little tune. But now with these two, this will be to no surprise to either of you. We kind of just sing Taylor Swift songs at them because they each have songs like for Manon, it's "Mean" by Taylor Swift because she's so bitey and
I gotcha.
Mean. And Benny's "Anti-Hero" because the chorus is, "Hi, it's me, I'm the problem." It's me. He's my favorite guy. I love him more than anything. But like, he so often will choose to be naughty when he doesn't need to be. And
I
so
see.
It's like,
so there's luckily there are over 20,000 Taylor Swift songs. So anything.
Yes.
Anything the dogs are doing can be accurately described by way of the lyrics of a Taylor Swift song.
That's right. It's like a Simpsons episode. Like, there's always a reference for it.
They decided on my Alaska Airlines flight this morning at 5 a.m. or whatever at Newark that they were just going all Taylor Swift as we were sitting on the plane. Alaska Airlines decided at some point, I don't know how long ago, a couple years ago, that they were going to play. Maybe because they're based out of Seattle and they think of Seattle as being kind of an indie music hotbed. I don't know if you have noticed this, Andrew, flying on Alaska, but they play a lot of, actually, generally speaking, kind of cool indie music that you don't expect to hear on a major airline as the, like, while you're waiting around to take off music, as opposed to just like real kind of top 40 radio stuff. And I don't know if it's at the discretion of the flight attendants or what, but this morning they were just like, we're just doing full on Taylor Swift, which was totally fine, by the way. It was just, I don't think I'd heard that before.
Last time I was on, it was all.
And then Bill Simmons walked through the door.
And then Bill Simmons walked.
Oh, were you at the were you at the ceremony for the Obama Center? I don't know if y'all watched any of that stuff from yesterday. The kind of big event there to christen the Obama Center in Chicago, but I'm telling you, Michelle Obama got up and started talking about Barack Obama, and she said I'm going to need you to look at me for this. And he said, absolutely not.
Because he knew he would cry?
Yep.
Uh-huh. Oh, my God. I love their love.
And when I tell you it was a little dusty in that hotel room in New York when I was just watching the love between them and the fact that he can't. Listen, I cried yesterday talking about people playing pickup basketball, so I don't need to do that again today. But it was adorable. If anyone's looking to just, I don't know, feel really have a momentary lapse in dread. Just unpack that. As I said that advisedly. If you're looking to have a momentary lapse in dread, watch a lot of that stuff, but particularly Michelle Obama talking about Barack Obama, because the thing that's so interesting about their relationship, as far as I can observe it, is that they love and respect each other deeply. I think they also probably are pretty comfortable calling each other out, behind closed doors on their stuff. It is not a relationship where you get the sense that Michelle Obama sees her job as to constantly gas Barack Obama up, both in public and in private. So when she says, I'm going to talk about you and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff you've done, I need you to look at me. And he's staring at the ground.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
So sweet.
I'm familiar with the energy in a relationship when somebody is not necessarily there to gas you up all the time, certainly.
Right. Well, all you have to do is become a 2-time president who broke a lot of barriers. And then one day, the other thing was Eddie Vedder was one of the many performers there because it was kind of, it was music. It was people sort of giving speeches about Barack Obama and his legacy, and Michelle Obama too, because obviously they were a team. But I thought Eddie Vedder was actually kind of charming, a guy that gets a lot of grief on this show, just because of the the Vedder Cup.
Well, the Vedder Cup gets grief. I don't blame him for the Vedder Cup, to be clear.
I don't either, and it's like I think Eddie Vedder is a force for good in the world, very much so, as evidenced by yesterday.
I think he's just going along and getting along with it. I mean, he's a Cubs fan. Like, that's the irony of all this.
But he's up there, and what his sort of musical contribution was, he got together with a bunch of young people in Chicago, a bunch of youth, and they sort of collaborated to write a song. And he said, when I told the president, I don't have an Eddie Vedder impression.
More. I want more Australian accent.
When I told. Basically, he said, like, when I told President Obama the plan for this song, how I was going to write it with a bunch of young people and we're going to collaborate on it, he said, that sounds like a lot of work. And like many things, the president was right. He was like, but it was a good outcome. I thought it was really, the whole thing was just really sweet.
Luke, did Barack Obama's podcast co-host Bruce Springsteen also perform? I'm surprised.
Sure did.
Okay, I would be shocked if he did.
Surely did. And I don't. You could say it's cute or an affectation, but I find it charming. He got up there and he said, "I'm Bruce." Like he introduced himself to the crowd. And he wasn't doing it in a way where he was like, "I'm being hilarious." I think he's a guy who's probably just internalized enough bonhomie that you have to have if you're Bruce Springsteen. Like, you're either going to just become insufferable or you're going to have to find some inner reservoir of normalcy that you tap into 100,000 times a day, because it's sort of McCartney level. Every time you're meeting someone, it's blowing their mind that they're in the same room as you. And like, what is that? How does that warp everything around you? So he's very Bruce Springsteen was very as you might imagine, he was charming and humble and very supportive of the president. And he played one of his newer songs, like "Land of Hope and Dreams," I think, or something. But it was just, I was in the green room at Chris's show yesterday, just watching. Although it was funny because I was coming from having done some CBS commentaries, so I had this blazer on actually, and I think I looked vaguely like a person who might be allowed to be on television, and everyone thought, other than Chris obviously, thought I was a guest on Chris's show because I'm being ushered through security. Hair and makeup has two different people from hair and makeup said, "Okay, you ready to come over?" I was like, "No, I'm just here to watch."
And they're like, "I know, but still, brother."
But still, we've had some requests. Can we do anything? Can we do like a smoky lid? What can we do to make you look not the way you look right now, sir?
We don't want you looking like that in the audience. No, you look nice. We tease.
The wild thing is that when I go do this stuff at CBS, they do have hair and makeup in only when I'm at what's called the broadcast center and I'm doing these commentaries, which is me sitting in front of a green screen and then like reading off a teleprompter. that's the only time I get hair and makeup. The rest of the time I'm out in the wilds of America, just kind of pasting on makeup myself. I don't really know what I'm doing. But it's very nice to go to the broadcast center because they really do a very nice professional hair and makeup person kind of makes you look more presentable. And usually when you're leaving after that, they'll hand you some kind of like wet wipes and say, oh, here's for getting the makeup off. And one day I didn't get that, or they didn't hand it to me, and I was just wearing the makeup all day, and it felt nice, actually. I caught a reflection in the lift. I was like, hey, why do I look a little better right now? It's like, oh, because I'm wearing makeup. So now my move is I don't ever take the makeup. I mean, it's very light. It's not like caked on anyway. It's pretty subtle, but I now do not take them. And I'm a little sad the next day when I wake up and the makeup is all on the pillowcase in the hotel. Because I kind of don't. I wish there was.
The Shroud of Burbank.
That's right. And someday they'll build an entire religion around it. I feel like I wish that there was that amount of makeup that I could wear most days. And again, I can't overstate how sometimes when you're doing television, well, I've heard and I've seen, maybe even experienced myself, sometimes they can go on really, really heavy and it looks it's pretty noticeable if you're not in front of the TV lights. For whatever reason, the woman, Leah, who does the makeup for the CBS Sunday Morning stuff, is very understated with it. So you wouldn't even really notice. I don't have like those kind of Donald Trump-esque, like real clear divisions of where the like makeup is on and then it's not on your neck, but it's on up here, whatever's going on. It's much more subtle. And I really wish that there was a product like my laser balding helmet, but that was a laser face makeup. I wish I could just like snap my fingers and have that amount of makeup on most days for moving through the world. But I'm not going to take the time to learn how to do it. So I guess I'll just have to take that as my little couple times a year treat in New York when I get to look pretty for a whole afternoon. That being said, when I was at Chris's show, at their new offices, by the way, they've moved out of 30 Rock. They're over in the old New York Times building. I was in the green room with Jelani Cobb, who's the writer for The New Yorker and the dean of the Columbia Journalism School, and I'm a big fan of his work. I've been a big fan of his New Yorker writing for years. And he was on Chris's show. Unlike me, he was an actual guest on the show, but we had like a lot of time to kill waiting for the show to start and waiting for Chris to get done with some stuff. And they have a TV, and they were just showing all the highlights. The reason I know as much about what happened at the Obama Center is because we were watching it there together. And I had a lot of things I wanted to talk about with Jelani Cobb just as a fan, but I also felt like I don't know if he needs that in his life. He was nice. He was conversational. He wasn't like, I could tell he wasn't looking to make a new friend, but also he was certainly not being brusque with me. But the one thing I said was, I was like, after we watched the Obama stuff for 10 minutes, I was like, and I think I might have said, oh, you know what, I maybe I had workshopped this on our show, Andrew, and then I was trying it out again with Jelani Cobb, which was much like when I saw all those people in New York just playing sports together and hanging out and having a very multicultural experience. I said that's the opposite of what happened on the White House lawn with the UFC. Mm-hmm. The Barack Obama stuff, the Obama Center stuff, it just could not have been more opposite in energy from with the UFC thing on the White House front lawn. I mean, you just could not have had a more different vibe. And it really jumped out at me because of how different it was.
The word dignified comes to mind.
Among other things, yes, without a doubt. Dignified, hopeful, loving, supportive, and not in like some kind of like way that conveys weakness either. I mean, one of the things about when you hear Barack Obama talk, I always find so impressive is that, he talked a lot about, because everybody from our side of things is always looking to him for like, what do we do, Dad? Like, you were like pretty much the last adult in the room. I mean, I guess maybe Joe Biden, but like, it's sort of like, what's Brock think about this? Because he just seems like he kind of has the answers. And so when he gives a speech, it's always like, well, is he going to finally just like unload on Trump? And he seems to strike, I think, a pretty effective tone. And he was talking about basically just the way that we need to, he talks about the ways that we need to connect with each other, but it doesn't sound corny for some reason. It doesn't sound naive. It doesn't sound like he doesn't, I mean, holy smokes, this is a real left turn, but there are 6 vintage airplanes flying in formation over my house.
Whoa.
In tight formation. They must be on the way. There must be an air show
or something. Whoa.
I mean,
that's fun.
You'd like this too, Andrew, because I'm indoors. I'm not on a roof. Yeah. It's all of the upside of the Blue Angels.
Well, keep in mind, those airplanes that got me on a roof. There are a few things that will even get me up there to begin with.
Anyway, it was if you're looking for a little pick me up if TBTL is not providing you with your daily recommended dose of pick me up on this Friday, and you haven't checked it out, check out the Obama Center festivities from yesterday. I think it's open to the public today, or maybe open to the special public today. I think this is the first time people are walking through it today too.
Can I just say though, when you were saying that about the ceremony yesterday, I was thinking that is not the worst. I mean, not to put ourselves on a pedestal, but that is not the worst guiding principle of TBTL either. A brief respite from the dread, or whatever you said before.
People say it. Yeah. People say it. A lot in their messages, their donor messages, that this is a little break from all of that for folks. So I'm as I often say, I'm really grateful to get to be a part of this and get to be that in people's lives. Because when we get to see again, I got back to the hotel room and I was watching more of it, and I was texting with Becca. And I was just like, this is kind of like what I needed as my final thought going into my sleep.
Yeah.
Like I need a few things that make me not feel completely sad about the world. Now, the thing I did that was, I'm not trying to make this a conversation about politics, but like as we were waiting in the kind of like lobby area before we went into the inner sanctum of MS Now, which is technically the company is called Versant, as in to be conversant. But who has time for the CON?
Yeah, right. We took the cons out of conversant.
Yeah. It's like conversant, but all pros.
Yes,
it's proversant.
Oh, that sounds like do not take proversant if you're allergic to proversant.
Yes, right. But I'm standing around. I'm waiting with the intern for the show who had gone and gotten me down from security and brought me up, and we're standing there, and all of a sudden there's like a door opens and like 11 people walk out, many of them Secret Service, and in the middle of them is Chuck Schumer. And he goes, "Hello, everyone. Hi, hello." It's like, oh, I forgot, because I don't do politics stuff anymore. I forgot what it's like to be around the energy of someone who's like the, Senate minority leader, I guess. And like just because I used to spend a bunch of time at Congress, well, not a bunch of time. I spent some time at Congress, and like Charles Schumer doesn't know anyone in that room. He frankly probably doesn't care to know anyone in that room, but he knows that he's Chuck Schumer, and when he enters the room, it's noticeable. It's, "Hi, everyone, hi." And he gets closer to me, and he's like, "Hi." And I don't know if he wants to shake my hand or something. But then there's Secret Service, and I don't want to lunge toward him, but I think maybe he's trying, because I'm in the blazer, I still have the CBS makeup on. Maybe he thinks I worked there as one of the hosts he hasn't met. So he kind of reaches out, and I kind of do it. So I fist bump him.
Yeah, but he's coming to you though. Like, is he sort of going down the line a little bit?
Ish.
Okay.
I would say it was. I think also I wanted to just seem important, like I'm the kind of person who fist bumps Chuck Schumer. Although there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I wish he would have handled differently as far as the orientation of Senate Democrats. But also I'm not going to leave a guy hanging if I think he's coming in for the fist bump, for the handshake, for the whatever. Also, I guess maybe I just wanted to tell you guys that I did it. I don't know. I'm really unsure about a lot of what happened.
Did he fist bumped back, and security
Yes.
didn't tackle you because you showed your fist?
No, in my mind, oddly enough, I thought that was me indicating that I come in peace somehow. I don't know. I thought like making a clear demonstration of like, this seems, I don't know, less weird than I'm reaching for him in some way. Like I thought closed fist signaled that I didn't have a weapon.
Well, I like to clank
him.
I like to clank swords with my friends. And so
are the Mariners doing that? What is the Mariners' celly right now, Andrew? Have you noticed they're like, it feels like they're throwing crap. Like, watch this. I know you're going to the game.
Oh, like when they reach first, like what Cal does. He kind of
it looks like he's throwing craps dice. He's like throwing something.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that is all about either.
I mean, we know Canzone has his Dominic Canzone has his like that's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, chef's kiss Italian.
Chef's kiss, but Italian. Like I'm talking with my hands, Italian kind of emoji. But like, yeah, Cal's doing, and then I think Emerson. Wait, who's the
Colt Emerson?
Yes, the cult of personality. Yes. I'm just going to keep hammering that joke. Colt Emerson, he's got one too where I think he like throws something. I don't know what they're doing, but maybe if you can get eyes on that tonight up close and personal.
Well, ironically, it's probably better you probably see it better on broadcast. But
that's a good point.
But I will keep an eye out for that. Or
hey, on
Googling.
the subject of big weekend plans, my friend, that would count as some of yours, right? You're going to be going to the game today.
Big weekend. The biggest one I've ever had. Big weekend.
I'm both excited and a little nervous, which is often how I go into the weekends, I think, no matter what's on the agenda. But yeah, I did mention to you that I'm going to the Mariners game tonight, and it's going to be a bigger than usual Mariners crowd anyway because they're playing the Boston Red Sox. So that tends to draw sort of a national fan base.
Kind of a low-key, understated fan base.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so they do have a tendency, those Boston fans, to sort of take over the majority of the park, at least in years past. But there's a lot of energy around the Mariners now. So hopefully we will continue to represent it. And if you're listening on the radio, hopefully it will still sound like a home game, which is irritating when the games out of Seattle sound like they're in New York. What were you going to say, Lou?
The Red Sox are pretty dreadful this year, too. So
that's true.
Case.
Yeah,
I don't. They are. Oh, yeah. And boy, I don't hate seeing that at all. Dustin Pedroia is zinning in his grave somewhere. He's not dead. But I was going to say, I don't want to go back into Knicks talk. And I feel like I can say this to you, John, because your Knicks prevailed. And, you're very happy. Everybody, Knicks fans worldwide are happy. I want to say I don't necessarily think it's not okay for the San Antonio Spurs to try to keep their home game not becoming a 51%, 49% Knicks fans event. You said that they were doing everything in their power to be unlikable because there was a rumor. And by the way, the sideline had Shabladoobie and Spike Lee on it, right? So they got there. But I just feel like as a Mariners fan who's had too many Mariners games ruined because there's more people from Toronto or Boston there, I do think it is not the worst for the hometown team to try to, particularly for a finals game, try to keep a balance where it's not going to actually be, because New York City has a lot of money.
Yeah.
Have you heard about my banker? No, New York City has a lot of super fans with a lot of resources who would, if allowed to, and maybe who couldn't get. That was one of the other big narratives, right? It was cheaper to fly to San Antonio.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, if I was a Knicks fan, that would also tick me off. But when I saw that and I read a little more about it, I was like, well, I kind of a little bit from my own PTSD as a Mariners fan, kind of understand where San Antonio was coming from.
A couple things. One, it's their own people because a lot of those are resale tickets. So people in Texas who own or season ticket holders are the ones that are selling. So it's they won't even go to the games themselves, right? That's number one.
Well, no, maybe they're just trying to make a little bit of money in this world.
But then they're not. I mean, it's the finals. You got to go to the game. That's not our fault that your ticket holders care more about making money than going to the game. That's not our fault.
I think. Anyway, I've said what I said, but I just feel like
it's worth noting that the New York Knicks ownership has a very laissez-faire attitude about who comes and goes into their stadium,
and kills it at parade speeches. How about that?
Listen, I am in no way ever going to be defending James Dolan. If James Dolan has no haters, I am dead. Because that man has been public enemy number one in New York for decades and deserves to be still. Yeah. But I get
it. Yeah, I think it's a matter. I think what it is it's like so many things. It's like Josh Naylor. We'll call it the Josh Naylor effect. Mm-hmm. When somebody is when something is personal to you or your team, like we love Josh Naylor, even though if I was another team, I would probably find him very annoying. If I were a Knicks fan, I would find it annoying that the Spurs were trying to keep their thumb on the scale. Mm-hmm. But as a person who doesn't have much of a dug on that flight, by the way, caught Chris Hayes last night. We were having a little drink after the show, and he started to say something. He goes, "Well, I don't have a dug on that flight."
Nice.
I was, thank you. It's working.
Nice.
We've broken through the highest echelons of the major media in this country. But anyway, Andrew, back to your big weekend plans. You're going to see the Mariners with the Boston Red Sox,
so the
it's
game,
going to be a crazy day down there.
Yeah, the game anyway would be one of those games where I'd be like, oh my God, this is going to be a very, very crowded event, which, I love going to Mariners games, but I actually prefer the ones that are maybe a day game. Maybe it's you don't have to wait 4 hours for a hot dog or what have you. But this is going to be obviously a very packed arena, but even getting down there is going to be a little bit nuts. I'm excited for it though, because the World Cup, the second game that's being played in Seattle is being played today. In fact, as we record, it's going to be starting here in a little bit. I think that starts at noon, and it's Team USA, right, versus Australia.
Yeah.
So
and Christian Pulisic is not. I've become a full-on World Cup head, by the way. y'all.
I know. I was just telling Vives, I know nothing. The fact that if a team loses, is it automatic elimination?
I'm not that into it that I know the answer to that.
Right now they're in pool play, which is you have the 4 teams in your pool, and they all play each other. Then there's a point system based on how you do, and then from there they go to the bracket, the knockout round, where it's a more traditional tournament. That's my understanding.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. But it's U.S. Australia, and U.S. actually did really well in their first match. So I think that the thought was they weren't going to be very competitive this time around, but they won their first match, and so it's now they're playing Australia today, and it's could they be a sleeper hit of this World Cup? And so anyway, I'm weirdly into this. We're recording here about 20 minutes before kickoff, and I just saw the headline that Christian Pulisic, who's our best player, is not going to play this game, which I never thought I would be that bummed about World Cup soccer news, but I'm kind of bummed about it.
I haven't really been following the games at all. I know nothing about what's going on with the World Cup, but I have been following kind of the buzz in the city, and I do love just, me, I don't bring energy to a party, but I like drafting off of other people's energy, and that's kind of how I am in the city right now. I do love the idea of going down there. I was looking for the line so I could quote it to you here, and I can't quite find it because there's been a lot of coverage of this, but in the Seattle Times yesterday, they had another piece about if you're going to one of these matches or any event, in that stadium area or downtown this weekend, here's what you need to know, or here's some advice on travel or whatever. And it said, getting to the stadium or something. It said, first of all, if you plan on driving, no, you're not. That was great because they're just closing down tons of streets and everything. But also the light rail, which is sometimes how I get down there. I heard it's just you can be just hours of waiting before you can even leave the stadium area after the matches. It's been incredibly busy. But that's where I'm very thankful for. Say it with me, boys. The E-line. That's right. I will be hopping on the E-line and taking that as far into Pioneer Square as possible. And I am expecting it just to be electric down there. I'm pretty excited to kind of get eyes on all of this.
Are you a World Cup guy, John? You obviously know more about it than I did. You know what pool play looks like.
No, if it's on a place, if I'm at a bar or if I'm at somebody's house and it's on, I'll watch, but I don't seek it out in any way. And I've definitely been distracted this last week with more important sports.
Sure. That's a good point. So, you've had your hands full. I've been getting into I've been really excited about some of these teams from Africa that have been the Democratic Republic of Congo has been, they had a draw, I believe, and they scored their first goal ever in World Cup competition. The last time they went, Mobutu was the dictator of what was then called Zaire, basically told all these players, when they qualify for the World Cup, that they were going to be showered with all these riches and gifts for honoring Zaire. When then they got over to and they were really, they were kind of outmatched with some of these teams that had much more funding and professional players, and none of these players were allowed to leave Zaire and play professionally other places, so most of them had day jobs. And they're losing these matches terribly, and then they're hearing from the Mobutu people that actually they might get killed when they get home. And they're just they've gone from being the heroes of Zaire to now being this is their fault somehow, even though they're playing their absolute hardest. Anyway, it was a really traumatic time there was a big story in The Athletic about this, is why I'm top of mind. So when they finally get back to the World Cup as the Democratic Republic of Congo, and then they have this Cabo Verde was the team that has this goalkeeper. So Cabo Verde is other team from Africa that's playing they're playing a team that is one of the, is it Spain maybe? They're playing a team that's considered one of the potential favorites to win the whole thing. So you have Cabo Verde, which I think we used to call Cape Verde, and now we're calling it Cabo Verde, although I'm seeing it sometimes as Cape Verde. I'm not a geography whiz, but anyway, they go into this game, this was their first match, I should say, where they have they're considered to have no chance of winning, and their goalkeeper single-handedly keeps them in the match with like 15 of the coolest saves you've ever seen in your life. Now he's a national hero. He's got 12 million followers on Instagram. His mom wasn't able to come to the first match because of, I don't know if it was either finances or paperwork, but now she's going to get to see him play because he's become the sensation of the World Cup. Just like plot lines like that have really got me kind of into this. And then I'm just a good old-fashioned basic B America lover who would love to see the American team make a run. So yeah, I'm pretty intrigued by this whole thing.
Something else I've been seeing, I will say that's gotten into like that I'm really loving is on TikTok. Apparently, the Scottish have invaded Boston, and it's like become this whole thing where the Scots and the Bostonians are like hitting it off, and like
they love each other.
The Scots, like they call them the Tartan Army, and they've drank all the beer in Boston, and just something else they're doing is they're putting,
which is how you get respect in Boston.
In Boston, right?
You walk up to the biggest beer keg and you beat it up.
Tap that.
That's how you make your presence known.
Yeah, they apparently a thing they're doing is they're walking around Boston and putting like traffic cones on all the statues' heads. And Boston, of course, has like 1,000 statues, so they're just going all around the city. So that's been fun. Like if I'm scrolling on the TikTok, like that'll make its way into my feed.
Yeah, I saw somebody who works for the Parks Department of Boston, who was complimenting the Scots on how much they can drink and also how much they picked up after themselves.
Oh, that's lovely.
He was like, "It's just one." He's like, "It's just me." And I actually goes, "This wasn't too bad. These guys, they're standing on business." He goes, "I don't know if they had." He goes, "These guys were thirsty. I don't know if they have water in Scotland. I don't know what the deal is. I've never seen people drink this way. But also, they did clean up after themselves, so I'll give them that." Nice. Have you seen the stuff coming out of Lawrence, Kansas, though? If we want to get back on the hope train, different cities and towns in America have become kind of the adopted hometowns of some of these teams. And the team from Algeria they've been practicing in Lawrence, Kansas. And the citizens of Lawrence, Kansas have absolutely enveloped the Algerian team with love.
Oh,
and I can't
awesome.
find the video. I really wish I could, but there is this one news clip of this guy, and I don't want to stereotype or anything like that, but like he's an older white guy that, let's just say, if I saw him, unfortunately, like at a MAGA rally, I would be unshocked, right? And he is just so flipping excited about the Algerians choosing Lawrence, Kansas. He's just effusive, and he's just like, I'm just so proud they wanted to come here. I'm just so excited they're here. Like, so that's also been like a really fun. A fun kind of subplot of this whole thing has been this international, I guess you could say, cooperation and embrace of folks from other places, which, as we all know, is in short supply.
Yeah. Am I right that the Belgians have taken over Dallas? Is that right? I saw some huge crowds, and I want to say...
They're making everyone put mayonnaise on their French fries?
Because I did see somebody sort of snarkily saying, like, boy, this is a team, they were sort of dunking on the Cowboys franchise and, like, kind of where excitement is around that team versus, like, all the... I want to say Belgians. I know it's just, like, an absolute sea of bright yellow. Is it kits? Is that what the jerseys are called?
Kits. Yeah.
Kits. Just like just an absolute sea of them, all just an undulating mass of humanity, all pushing in the same direction. You know what I mean, spiritually or energetically wise. And I don't know. There is something about that. And so, and I'm seeing scenes. I don't think we have that type of energy in Seattle, but I am seeing that whole area down in Pioneer Square, which is just like a huge, it's almost like a big empty block with like benches, and it's a place where sometimes DJs set up for just kind of free stuff, but often it's just like kind of empty and you just kind of walk across it and there's a few people kind of hanging around or whatever. But I think that's just been absolutely filled with people who are getting together to watch like the various matches on huge screens or whatever. So it's kind of like, it's almost like the dream of that part of the city coming alive again.
Becca and I were walking home from dinner. Well, two things happened on Saturday night that was kind of interesting. John, you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
We were having dinner as the Knicks as they clinched. And we're just like we're in an area called the Pearl of Portland. It's called the Pearl, not the Pearl of Portland. But we're just having some dinner outside. And I'm just hearing all of a sudden, in New York, concrete. People are freaking blasting that song. woman comes out of the restaurant. We were eating outside, but she comes out of the restaurant. The Mediterranean Exploration Company is where we were eating. She comes out and she's crying. She's on her phone. She's like, they did it. And then all of a sudden, people are just like walking up and down this alley that we're in Knicks gear. I'm like, I didn't know there was like 4 Knicks fans in Portland. Like, that's remarkable. But the other thing was we were then walking from there back to Becca's place, and it was about 9 o'clock at night, and it's just a beautiful warm night in Portland, and in what's called Pioneer Plaza, which I often mix up with Pioneer Square from Seattle, but it's kind of a similar deal. It's a big brick kind of gathering area where sometimes there's concerts and stuff, but also sometimes there's, things that aren't great, and Portland obviously gets a really, really bad rap from certain kind of people and stuff. And we just get there, and there is just a huge screen with one of the World Cup matches on it, and just like 1,000 people just kind of sitting around in the Pioneer Square area, Pioneer Park area, just watching the game. There was a little soccer field set up for kids to play in that was at the base of the screen that was kind of had a little fence around. So there's like 10 little kids running around kicking soccer balls, playing soccer. There's a bunch. It's a warm night. There's, little food trucks. So it's just like, this is what we need to have more of. So yeah, there's the watch party aspect of this seems to also be really cool.
It's fun. We gotta capture this for the World Baseball Classic next year. We gotta have it.
Yeah.
I also encourage when we
and
do
if
the,
not that
next year,
for the Vetter Cup,
5 years. Oh yeah. Why can't the Vetter Cup be every 4 years?
Can't find a Vetter Cup. If you aren't making your Vetter Cup plans now for next season, you're going to be behind the 8 ball.
Hotels
I
are
also
booking
encourage if tens want to get together and have an outdoor viewing of the Thon when we're broadcasting live, like we can do that too. Like, I don't know who we need to talk to.
Can you get Projector Guy from New York who was showing the Knicks games in the West Village? Could he project the Thon?
I don't know him personally, but I'll do my best.
Do you know the Twin Cities version of him?
Somebody with a projector.
I think that's Stu, maybe.
It might be. It very well might be. Hey, by the way.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
Speaking of Thon stuff, as I mentioned, we're going to be in Valley City, Ohio, Andrew's hometown, July 13th through 17th, doing the Thon, streaming the show. What is the time again we're going to be streaming it?
We're going to live stream at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. East Coast time.
Always a fun experience for folks to watch the show live and chop it up with the other tens in the comment section. We will take phone calls. This is part of the tradition of the Thon. But we also are going to be on Sunday. There's a big community get-together there in Valley City. It's the Valley City Frog Jump Festival, I think might be the name of it. And we're going to be participating in that. And we're going to have a frog that is we're going to be entering as part of the Frog Jump. One of the things that we need to figure out is what we're going to call the frog. And we are always open to good ideas from the tens of listeners. And so we said last week, I think, or whenever it was, to email John with names. Have people been emailing you with potential frog names?
Yeah, I got some good names that came through. Also, I wanted to point out, because this came up last week, it's the 65th annual Frog Jump. So I feel like it's not a round number, and not like,
but it's not a.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, that is really that's interesting. What you hear in my mind is that might help me tip my. I'm trying to get CBS Sunday Morning to let me do a story about the Frog Jump, so that I could also casually mention our podcast on television. I think it being the 65th, that might sway them.
I'll call Barry myself and tell her she.
I walked by Barry's new offices the other day. It was like back rooms.
Did you fist bump them?
I did. That's what Chuck Schumer was coming out of. It's like, I don't like this. I don't like this.
I like the
at
idea
all.
of you interviewing me on CBS, but not giving any tell that we know each other, and I can just sort of say, I like frogs, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
We need to work on your media training, Andrew. That's your
move
approach.
over. I like turtles, kids.
That's right.
There's a new kid on the block.
And then it goes viral, and then that.
I like turtles.
Exactly. Imagine that only coming from me, a 50-year-old bearded gargantuan man.
So people have been sending in their submissions, their suggestions.
We got a few of them for sure. I'm going to start off with my favorite one, but I'm also going to kibosh it right away because I don't like the impetus, the origin, or what's going after. But our good friend Bobby Pape sent in Hopvicular.
Hopvicular.
Which I literally laughed out loud at when I read it, but I'm just saying right now we can't use that for all the reasons.
buzz
sorry,
your
Bobby.
here. Yeah.
Clavicular is getting enough attention as it is probably
and
these
it's not
days.
good in any way. So right, but
Although I do hope that whatever frog we get, they are hopsmaxing.
I was going to say I just got frame hopped.
I got brutally frame hopped by.
So that was one we sent in.
Okay.
A couple different people sent this in. I'm gonna do my best Susie B impression.
Okay.
I say, "What's up, frog?"
Oh,
okay.
That's actually pretty clever. I mean, I don't know if it's really a name, but it's a
catchphrase.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I say, what's up,
frog?
Some names that were sent to going back to the Mariners, the Seattle Mariners. Julio Rodriguez.
Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Just Julio.
Is there
for
another
short.
Mariner? I mean, Julio's maybe the most famous Mariner, but is there another Mariner, Andrew, whose name more lends itself to
That has frog or hop.
Oh my
jump.
God! Our relief pitcher, Hoppy.
Oh yeah,
We literally
Logan
have
Hoppy. No,
it's
what's
not
his name?
Logan.
Not
What is
Logan
his
Hoppy.
name? I'm looking. It's H-O-P-P-E,
His last name is Hoppy,
right? And
His name's literally Hoppy?
His last
name is
Alex
H-O-P-P-E.
Hoppy. H-O-P-P-E. So that would
So what
be.
if we just call him Al? What if we call the frog Alex?
You can call me
Just the-
Al.
Subtle. Call him out.
Call him
Yeah.
Al. Or her or
Yeah.
them.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so that's another good one. This one came in from our friend Sean in Texas, and
Noted Astros fan. Yes.
And I need to mea culpa on air because I got an email from Sean. I think it was Friday night that said we should name the frog Wemby, and I saw the email come
You
in.
didn't
And I
like
did not.
that.
Well, I didn't do anything with it.
I hate you because you
No. I didn't do anything with the email on Friday night when I saw it. On Saturday, the Knicks won, and then Monday morning, I sent an email being like, "Oh, hey, Sean, sorry, I'm just responding. I didn't see this till now because I think I said I try to have a real good work-life balance. I don't respond to emails after Friday or something like that.
It's also good that the Knicks had already.
Well,
wait,
yes.
they hadn't actually. They hadn't actually. So
not when he sent it in. And then I proceeded to write. I finished the email with, "Sorry, we're trying to name this frog after a winner." And so I just feel like that was
That's
a little,
rough.
that was a little harsh.
That's
That was
a little.
harsh.
Yeah, I think you do.
So
you
Sean,
do
I apologize for the harshness, but also we're not going to
Never apologize to Sean. He's our Go Astros guy. He hurt me more than anybody's ever hurt me.
Oh, then actually, good job, John.
Yeah.
I'm not going to attack listeners / donors. Sean, you can send me those emails. I won't be as cruel. You got next year probably.
I feel like Wemby. Do frogs have webbed feet?
They do. Yeah.
I feel like there's some kind of
Webby, just Webby.
Webby. I mean, then I guess then the Wemby joke doesn't work. It seems like it's adjacent to a frog related humor.
Yeah.
Also, do we know what's the difference between a frog and a toad? And I'm actually not kidding you.
Well, there is a difference.
Is it a size difference probably?
I mean, it's a different species, right? They're just similar.
Yes.
But I don't know though. I'll look
I'm thinking
it up.
We need like a frog expert to tell us this.
Oh, if only we had one email us.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta reach out.
Talking to you, Simeon. We'll be getting in touch, buddy.
I'll kind of roll through for you these. So
whoa! Everybody, stop. John, stop. According to AI, all toads are technically frogs, but not all frogs are toads. Now I need to dig.
AI.
I need to dig deeper into this.
Yeah.
But if this is true, first of all, I got to figure out how many cookies to accept. Reject all or accept. I'm going to accept all the cookies on this.
Yes.
So let me see
I'd like some
here.
cookies.
You aren't alone if you don't know the difference between a frog and a toad. Thanks for that. While frogs and toads are both amphibians, they are separate families of animals. And while they are similar in many ways, they do have differences. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to get a quick answer here, but they're...
Because it sounds like AI lied.
It does sound like AI lied. Anyway, go ahead, John. Sorry. I stopped.
Yeah. No, it's good. All good. So we have a few others, just very TBTL specific, like jalapeno was one that somebody threw out there. I like, so our listener, Chris in Worcester, or Worcester, whatever, sent in a whole bunch of really good pun names. So I'll rattle off a few of these. Andrew, I don't know if you're okay with this, but Lurk Riverbank.
Lurk Riverbank. I actually kind of like that. That's pretty...
Okay.
Well, I don't know about the lurk. Why are we lurking?
Because
Luke.
I know.
It's a Luke Burbank. So
Yeah.
Riverbank.
Yeah. I love the riverbank. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we also got from Chris Junior Slug Eater.
Oh, okay.
We got I really, this was good, Frog Faliban.
Like a Bob Balaban?
Like a Bob Balaban.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then this one, Chris had a whole list. One was Denzel, parentheses, because he likes to get wet, though.
Oh, he does like to.
No, that was good. So, yeah, there's a few other ones we had in there, too. Oh, and also Chris suggested just splooch.
Oh, that's
splooch.
I feel like that's a strong contender.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
I am serious that if you have, is it a spreadsheet you're working with there or just a Word doc? I want you to add Mr. Ribbits to it.
Mr. Ribbits.
Yeah.
Or just Ribbits.
Come on, Luke.
Neutral Ribbits.
Somebody take that sound away from Luke. You're hitting the wrong button, Luke. It's supposed to be a bunch of kids saying yay or something like that.
I hate you because you look different.
That's what you should be playing for that. Yeah. I unironically like Mr. Ribbits, but just put it on the list. We don't have to go with it.
It's on the list.
And I think that we need to make it clear to the listeners as well. We don't know what's going to happen. We haven't met the frog yet. So this is like like a family talking about potential baby names, but waiting to name the baby once the baby is born. We're not going to lock into it. It's very
gender
unnatural.
reveal.
It's going to be green.
I'm going to have like a confetti cannon, and the color of the confetti is going to indicate.
We're going to cut into a cake, and it's going to be green.
Yes.
I actually kind of love that. Maybe I just want some green cake. But yeah, so we'll meet the frog, and maybe when we meet the frog, it'll align with one of these names on the list, which is still growing. And you can continue to email John.
No, I like listening. I like hearing these suggestions. I think that they're fun. So keep them coming, because it might be the case that one of the suggestions that's just kind of jangling around in our head when we get eyes on our frog, it'll connect. It'll say like, oh, that is, whatever, fill in the blank. So yeah, please keep sending some ideas. We're taking them.
I met a dog named Jimmy yesterday, and I was thinking, because Luke, didn't you actually? I was very impressed with you at some point recently. It had nothing to do with your TV
I want to hear more about
or
this.
who you're hobnobbing with, but it had to do with
who
the
I've
fact
been fist bumping lately.
You've been fist bumping. I think you actually remembered something. I don't remember if this came up on the air or off air, but you referenced in passing the fact that when I adopted a cat in high school, I had told you this story, that I was all set on a name for the cat. I'd been wanting a cat for so long, and I knew when I got a cat, I wanted to name that cat Jimmy. And then me and my dad went to the SPCA and adopted a little cat, and I remember... for at least months, I knew my cat's name was going to be Jimmy. But then I just remember bringing the cat home and the cat sitting on my lap, or maybe in like one of those take-home boxes that the cats come in with little holes in it, and saying to my dad, who was driving the car, this cat does not seem like a Jimmy to me. And almost like saying it like as a sad realization, like, this cat is just not a Jimmy. And he said, well, what is it? I said, I think it's an Alex. I think it's an Alexander. And I don't know why I felt like that cat was an Alexander. I wasn't trying to be clever. I wasn't trying to be anything. It just seemed like the right name for this cat. And so then I had a cat named Alex for a long time. And then last night I met a dog named Jimmy, and it was sort of like one of those things. I was kind of like, you could have been my Jimmy.
Is that the cat, Andrew, that you are holding in that flipping adorable photograph?
Oh, that I sent you over the weekend?
Yeah, you've got I think you've got like a Little League hat on.
Yeah.
And you're holding a cat, right?
I am. I don't know what cat that is.
That's not Alex.
I'm holding a little kitten. No, I don't know. So, I was pretty, and just so listeners know, what happens over the weekends when Luke and I are not recording the show is we send each other cute pictures of ourselves as children. It's really more of a one-way thing. I feel like I need to send Luke one cute photo of me about halfway through the weekend just to remind him what he's coming back to.
That I forward those. I'm not kidding. I forward those to Becca.
Oh,
I'm like, look at how cute Andrew was with this cat and this little
I said
cute
that to you, and I said, this is who you're being mean to when
that is a thing in therapy,
show.
by the way, not about the other person, but about yourself,
I always see that online. That's kind of a thing that people will post a photo of themselves as a child and say, this is who you're being mean to. But is it the roots of that come from therapy?
Well, in my experience, I've had therapists that have just kind of, they call it, attending to your young self or whatever. Just like if you're thinking negatively about yourself or being really hard on yourself, it's like you imagine yourself when you were a baby or when you were a little kid, and you tend to go a little easier on yourself, have a little more empathy for yourself.
Oh, really?
When you think about yourself, and by the way, also for other people. Like I've had very powerful. We don't take this here, but like some of my more powerful moments in being in therapy have been thinking about people that I've been frustrated with, but then imagining them as like a 2-year-old.
Because you could take them down easier.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
What about somebody who, like, definitively was like a jerk when they were a kid? Like, I had some bullies growing up. Like, if I think about them now as a kid, I'm like, yeah, they were mean.
But see, you're too far. You're doing it wrong, John.
Go back.
Again.
Go back.
No, that's like once they can bully someone. Now we've moved out of the exercise. I'm talking like when they're a baby, like when they're holding a baby rattle, when they're not even capable of having the thought to bully anyone.
Okay.
Except their parents' sleep pattern.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think you have to have empathy for somebody who was mean to you in fourth grade.
Because I got a list of names.
Yeah, you hear that, Marty D'Amico?
No. What's that?
Yeah.
I said, you hear that, Marty D'Amico? I'm naming and I'm blaming. By the way, speaking of using people's full names.
You better be careful, Andrew. We're about to return to the scene of some crimes. We're going to get off the airport and have Marty D'Amico waiting for us.
We're going to step out of the rental car at Liverpool Elementary, and Marty's just going to be putting one fist into a hand like that. I've been waiting 40 years for this. What was I going to say? I had a thought. I can't remember. Oh, anyway, I don't know who that little kitten is in my hand in that photo I sent you, Luke. I sent it to you because I thought that was a pretty bomb-ass little Little League hat I was wearing in it. But it looks like there's not a lot of context in that photo, but it looks like that's probably our backyard, which means that might have been a kitten that came into our life, but it really sort of underscores how we really were more of a barn cat family. You sort of can understand a little bit more about my sort of kind of what was sort of a casual relationship with cats. I've told you before that I had a cat that I absolutely loved named Fred that I raised as a kitten. But when we moved, Fred just stayed behind with the house. And it wasn't until decades later that I would look back at that and be like, that's weird. I don't remember being emotional about that. I just remember being like, well, we're moving now, and Fred stays with the house. And I'm going to be honest Fred is still alive.
I bet you Fred was not that sad.
No, probably not.
I bet you Fred was probably living his best life, mousing and running around inside and out.
And I can't remember. It might have even been our next. Geez, it's weird that I can't remember this. I have this weird memory. I think it was our next door neighbors who bought our house, and this is next door neighbors in the country. We kind of shared a driveway or whatever anyway. So if I'm right about that, that makes even more sense because there was a sort of communal kind of, we didn't have a fence or anything like that, so the cats could sort of come and go. And so it probably did not feel like a change to that cat as opposed to bringing him to a completely different place that was more of a, like a cul-de-sac kind of place. And could he have even been an outside cat there? We don't know. And so anyway, but it's weird to see a photo of me holding a kitten in my own backyard and having no memory of who that kitten is.
Well, it's freaking adorable, and I love that hat. That hat is right up there with the Kellerman's hat from Dirty Dancing.
Oh, you're
of hats that I would like to get my hands on. Do you know? There's no chance that like your dad has that hat somewhere in a storage unit or something.
I would be surprised because I think it was legitimately my Little League hat, which means also it probably was pretty sweaty and dirty at some point as well. But man, I wish. I was thinking about maybe we could recreate that hat for the three of us and wear it in Valley City the whole time we're there.
Yeah. We're working assiduously to get ready for the events of the thon, including the thank you gifts, which, again, to John, to you and Andrew, thank you for, I know you guys have been putting in a lot of work on that to get that all dialed in. We have our Airbnb rented. We have, are you guys feeling pretty good? Are you feeling as okay as you can, Andrew, at this point, between the technical side of it, which falls disproportionately on you, and the fact that it's happening in your hometown? Like, this one's going to be a lot for you.
Luke, if you want a serious answer to that, do you want a serious answer to that question?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a serious answer to the question. I have so much anxiety and stress right now. I can't separate what from what right now. It is not. And honestly, though, maybe the upshot of this, because I just heard you both make sad sounds, and that's not what I was going for. But maybe the good part of that is I don't even know that the TBTLathon technical issues are a huge part of that right now because I'm sort of just like looking at things that are a little bit more directly in front of my face, like this book event I'm doing with my friend in a couple of weeks and this ongoing project that is going on in my house that is causing more and more less than positive feelings. And I feel And also, and this is a good thing, I love having Lucy in our life, but also we brought Lucy into our life during this relatively chaotic time at home, and so like everything just has felt very topsy-turvy to me the last couple of months. And so if I have anxiety about the technical aspects of the thon right now, some of that anxiety is that I haven't even given enough thought to it yet. Like I need to sit down and I need to like kind of start thinking like, oh yeah, how do we live stream again? But knowing that we have done this several years in a row now makes me think that we can figure it out. And we're going to a part of the world where, even though I haven't been there in forever, like if I am missing a cable or something like that, I just feel like there's there's less unknowns about where I might go to get that cable. It might be Brunswick, Ohio, Luke, or as my grandma used to say, into town to get a missing cable. You know what I mean?
I like this. I mean, I don't like that you're stressed across a variety of different sort of like events, Andrew, but I do think that this is also good that the stress you're feeling about everything else is meaning that you don't have time to stress about the thon, because it will totally work out. It's going to be really fun. And I like, again, I don't like you being globally stressed, but I like that you're not locally stressed about the thon, because you have too much global stress in your life.
Think global, worry local.
Yes.
I wrote about something in the TBTL newsletter last week that is a real concern of mine. This is not a bit that I'm putting on. I'm not trying to add another layer of drama to the TBTL-a-thon, but this is a real thing. Do you guys know that I'm not super down with touching the frog?
I saw that in the newsletter, and I guess I didn't know where the real Andrew feelings start and the bit ends, or however you put that.
In fact, the reason I sent you that photo this weekend was because my dad read the newsletter, and then he started digging through old photos, and he found a photo of me holding a worm. And he said, look, you said in your newsletter that you don't like touching these things, and look at you touching these things.
Bob just fact-checking you.
Yeah, but did I send you that?
Fact-checking
did I send you that photo, though? Here, I'll send it to you now.
I'll even make it. I got the worm one.
I'll make it the show pick. Because if you look at my face, it is the face of a child who does not want to be holding that worm. Don't let them touch those things. They don't want to touch those things.
They're very afraid of those things.
They've never touched anything in their lives. Let them touch those things for once.
I'm also wearing, for whatever it's worth, not to just keep on bragging, but I'm wearing another bomb-ass hat in this one. This is my favorite hat.
Doesn't it kind of suck if you look back at pictures of your childhood, particularly from a certain age? Like, we all get kind of awkward at some point. But there's that era before that where everything, just like, how do I ever get back to being that effortlessly cool?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like between like 4 and maybe 7. There's this window of time where it's like you're just always wearing some kind of something that you gave no thought to because you were a 5-year-old, but you look back on it now, you're like, dude, that's kind of a dope fit.
I think the answer is you didn't care what other people think. Like
exactly.
That's
how do you get back to that?
Well,
is there a surgery?
There's a therapist you could talk to.
Is there a procedure?
I just sent you guys the photo of me holding this worm. So I am. I do love that jacket, by the way.
First of all, I think you have swag in this photo.
Dude,
yes. I love that hat. I remember that hat. I had so many hats growing up. So my dad used to get tons of free hats from work, and this hat was from a company called Hydrocrete, and their whole thing was like instead of using one of those traditional concrete trucks that you see on the highways that are like kind of spinning the big drum behind them.
Yeah, to keep the concrete liquid.
That'll dump the concrete behind it when you're ready to use it. But these were trucks that would sort of pump it through this series of tubes that you can sort of see in the cartoon image of it on the hat. And so Hydrocrete had the logo or the slogan, "Don't dump it, pump it." And so here I am in this quasi-oversized hat, kind of trucker-style hat with that.
With a dope jacket.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that jacket, too.
You know what? You are wincing. You have one eye. You have one eye firmly closed in a, but your lips are pursed in a way that, like, I could see how your dad would look at this and read this as you're not that bothered by it. But I could also see how you would look at it and go, no, I was very bothered by it. It's it's a little Mona Lisa smile. It's a little inscrutable.
Well, don't worry. I got his ass. I wrote.
Good. I'm glad.
I wrote, "That is not the face of a boy who is enjoying touching that worm." To which he wrote, "Good point. I probably forced you to hold it for the picture." Crying, laughing emoji. So knowing that, and this is for real. Here we are. So we've talked about the past. Let's talk about the present and the future. future. It is currently the summer of 2026. I am currently 49 years old. My feeling about touching a frog now is probably even more squeamish than it was when I was a kid, because at least when I was a kid, I was in the country. I was confronted with these things a lot more. I know I've held frogs before, but I'm also not joking when I tell you I was thinking I was going to live the rest of my life without ever being in one of those situations where somebody's like, here, hold the snake or hold the frog or all the other things we do to children.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think you have to hold the frog. And in fact, I would vote that we probably hold the frog as little as possible. So I can't imagine the frog would love being picked up and handled. It's probably kind of stressful. So my thing is we get the frog, we put the frog in a very large and sort of well-appointed terrarium, giant, whatever, Tupperware tub, whatever we land on.
The Daves are supposed to be helping us with that. They seem very excited to create a habitat for this frog of ours.
Yeah, we want to give the frog like a nice, comfortable habitat, and then I think we want to mostly leave it alone. I don't think we need to be picking it up and pulling it out a bunch. So I think you actually you can probably get away with literally never touching the frog. My thought wasn't that we're going to be like passing the frog around a bunch or anything. I want to try to keep it so that it can perform well on Sunday. I want to keep its cortisol levels.
Well, that's
a
really good point too, and to definitely get one of those.
I don't want it developing dangerous belly fat either.
Get one of those
cortisol spikes.
Huge sleeves that the pitchers wear after an outing. The ices of now on each leg. But there will be.
I don't think you have to touch the frog.
But there will be the obtaining of the frog. So the Daves are going to be taking us out on I think Tuesday night or something like that to the bogs of Valley City to find our frog. So
they said a golf course, but
I'm going with Boggs.
Okay,
it's Boggs Golf Course. Bog is a guy with
Bill O'Grady got a golf course.
What were you say, John?
Wade Boggs.
Yes,
We're gonna name the frog Lemon Chicken.
Lemon Chicken. Name him 60 beers cross-country flight. That's also a Wade Boggs story. Andrew, if it helps alleviate some stress, I did get a notification during this recording that some of the equipment has already been delivered to your dad's house.
Oh, good.
So,
I'll probably be... Wait, hold on. I just got a text message. Is it from my dad? No, not yet. My folks are very diligent when it comes to package delivery at their house. I believe that if they find out...
I believe that you come from a long line of package... Of package watchers.
If there is I'm actually not like. I mean, I'm excited. I'm very excited about the pole saw that's heading my way, and I got some shoes heading my way. I'm excited for packages to arrive, but like in my life, I have been very, very lucky. I have not been the victim of any kind of package thievery or anything. So I don't actually get worked up about it. I see other people, and I would just say maybe other generations get super worked up about it. And I do sort of feel like if a package is arriving sometime between 2 and 3 on a Friday, there is a chance that my parents will take the day off of all activities the day previous and following to make sure that it arrives. I specifically told my dad, I'm like, just so you know, I said, some audio equipment is heading your way. John's shipping it to you. But then I said, but just so you know, it's not super valuable. It's like a really old audio board. Don't stress about this. And then I did tell him John says you only need the smallest tow motor to remove it from the truck just to make sure that he was prepped for that.
Me and my dad pallet jack
got from the same cloth. My dad said, I'll get the kerosene ready, which is how I learned at age 49 that apparently kerosene is how tow motors run. Did you guys know this?
No. Also, what's a tow motor?
That's like a forklift. It's a brand of forklift, whatever. Anyway, so thank you for that. I'm sure that I will get a notice soon that the equipment has shown up on time, and I am really looking forward to this adventure. It should be fun.
I think once we're there, it's going to be, and once things are kind of set up and operational, I think it's going to be really, really fun. Speaking of things that are fun, I just have a little update. U.S. has gone up 1-0 on Australia.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for happening.
Yeah. I think you're Australia. Listen, Australians are wonderful people, both warm and direct, John. I think we've learned anything on this show. Yeah. But Andrew, especially if the U.S. somehow manages to win this game, sans Christian Pulisic, it's going to be not only is it going to be a mob scene down there, it's going to be a delirious mob scene. It's going to be It's not going to quite be Knicks level, Knicks, celebration parade levels, but it's going to be fun to be down there if the U.S. has managed to win this game.
How long does because I got to figure out my day here. I got some things I got to kind of take care of, a little meeting, and I do have to finish writing the newsletter, and so I do want to get down there kind of as early as possible. Does a typical soccer match last would it be like about 3 hours?
Well, it goes 90 minutes officially, but then they add some stoppage time.
Oh, okay.
So just call it 2 hours to be. Well, there's also a halftime or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call it a couple of hours, but then the good news is, everybody's going to be coming in or everybody's be going out as you're coming in.
Yeah.
So I even think on the light rail, I mean, you're going to take your E-line, but I think you'll be kind of going against in the best way. You'll be going. All the people will be trying to get out of that area as you're coming into the area. So,
by the way, speaking of the E-line, I rode the E-line that weekend after we got that note from listener Brian talking about how he's a new bus driver who's driving the E-line, and when I enter the E-line, it's one of those very long buses that has several sets of doors on it, and I usually enter one of the rear sets of doors.
What was it, the fourth in the franchise of Bruce Lee movies? It was Enter the Dragon. And then Enter the E-line?
Enter the E. Well, I mean, he was here in Seattle, so that makes a lot of sense.
And he sometimes had to use his karate skills on that bus.
That's right. I'd actually watch that movie if he was like a personal protector on the E-line. But anyway, so after getting that email from Brian who said, hey, listen, if you're taking the E-line, like these are the days I work and there's a chance you could be on my bus, I keep an eye. And I think he described himself as maybe a guy with a beard and tattoos. And anyway, I went to get on the bus that evening or afternoon or whenever it was, and I saw that the bus driver, I don't know if I saw that the bus driver had a beard or not, but I did try to enter by the front doors, but the bus driver wouldn't open the front doors, or they were just closed, and I also didn't have a good game plan. I was a little bit nervous. I was like, do I say, are you Brian? And then if the bus driver has no idea what I'm talking about, I guess he would just say no. And I guess that's how that social interaction would work. But I got in my head about it a little bit. And then, but I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I went to get in the front doors, but the front doors weren't open. So then I got in one of the back doors. And then I kept staring. I was trying to make eyes with the. I think, did Brian also maybe say he has a shaved head? But this bus driver was wearing a ball cap. And so, like, I kept on trying to make meaningful eye contact with the bus driver every time he would look up into his, like, rear view mirror or whatever. But anyway, I never found out if that was Brian or not. I was too shy to go up there and introduce myself to the bus driver on the E-line.
Well, at least you weren't, in whatever state of affairs I was in when someone may or may not have been dressed as a hot dog, may or may not have been driving me somewhere in an Uber or a Lyft. At least you remember the event. You remember being too shy.
Would it be, I don't know if Brian is still driving that route, but if he is, and you're still listening, Brian, would it be possible for you just to always wear a hot dog suit? That way I know. Like, this is Seattle. You say I have a beard and a shaved head and some tattoos. Like, that can, a lot of people can look like that. There are fewer people wearing hot dog suits driving a bus up and down Aurora.
Fewer, as if there's not other ones wearing hot dog suits driving up and down Aurora.
I mean, it's, it's a lot of energy in the city right now.
Bus drivers should be allowed to accept tips because I think it's a hard job sometimes.
That's a good point.
And I feel like if Brian started wearing a hot dog outfit and had like a little tip jar, I feel like he would really supplement his income pretty handsomely.
Yeah, we're here for our listeners. We have ideas that will help them.
Well, so on the good news side from USA Soccer, they've gone up 1-0 on Australia. On the bad news, they just cut to RFK Jr. at the stadium.
What?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know how that falls under his purview of trying to make everyone unhealthy again. But he's taking a break from working out with Kid Rock to hang out at what they're calling Seattle Stadium. Did you see that they renamed it, Andrew, for this week?
All the stadiums, it's instead of MetLife or it's New York, New Jersey Stadium, instead of Levi's in San Francisco, it's just San Francisco Stadium. That's what
I actually,
done for all
I
of them.
said that somewhat derisively. I actually think that's a good idea. Think about it, if you're from some other country.
Yeah.
And, first of all, I just think that these corporate naming things are kind of BS anyway, in a way. So I'm glad they're just going with the name of the city that is associated with the stadium.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little, I don't know. But
some of it's misleading. Like famously, Foxborough is not like downtown Boston, but they call it Boston Stadium. Like it's like
I do think that's rough. Yeah, that should just be Foxborough, right? Or does that have a different name now? If it's called Foxborough and it's in Foxborough, they should just kept the name.
Well, it's Gillette. Is the
of
corporate.
course. It does have a. I forgot
But I guess
about that.
if you're like a tourist, you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Boston, but then I have to figure out transit to the suburbs. Actually, is what it becomes, and like whatever. I don't know. I'm just.
Do you know when I was a kid, and the New England Patriots made it into the Super Bowl against the Chicago Bears? I want to say it was 1985.
Yeah.
You might not have been born yet, John, but
it's the year I was born. But
I remember hearing all season about these New England Patriots and thinking, I feel like I'm pretty up on the cities. I didn't understand that you could be named for a region.
Sure.
And I have a specific memory of being a little kid and either looking on a globe or looking in like an atlas and trying desperately to locate where New England America was. Because I was like, the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, which they were the LA Rams back then,
and
too.
the LA Raiders too.
The LA Raiders. They may have been the Oakland Raiders in that time. Okay. But every team I knew was associated with the city. So I was like, how has this New England city been escaping my radar all these years? All 8 of these years of being alive.
I'm going to ask a dumb question. Are all the football teams except for New England named after cities, or do we have any named after states? We have the Carolina Panthers.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, Minnesota
Carolina
Vikings.
Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Okay, yeah. So there are states, but you are right. It's confusing.
There's no other region, right? Or just kind of area.
Yeah. But there are states, and then
soon will be the Indiana Bears.
Oh God, I hope not.
Don't say that.
I surely hope not.
Don't say that.
But all right. Well, let's
Arizona Cardinals.
Sorry, good point.
I'm just gonna stop doing this.
Oh yeah. Right now, baseball, really quickly. Baseball.
Arizona Diamondbacks.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Minnesota Twins.
Minnesota Twins.
I can keep doing this.
Dude, when I was walking through Times Square last night, there was this big. All those ads? Obviously, those digital ads are running crazy, and it's like the Mets have some big ad. They're the Amazons, and I just thought, and the Mets are like once again just. Dreadful. Like last year, they were like, I think they started with one of the best records in baseball, and at the All-Star break, they just went into a complete free fall. Somehow didn't make the playoffs, which was like incredible. It was like you almost had to work harder to do that. And now this year, they're just like really dreadful. There's something about just seeing like an ad for like get your Amazons tickets right now. I was like, you're not fooling anybody.
And after spending so much money, I heard our boy Jorge is, I think, on the deep injured list now. Yeah, I think I had heard that.
Bummer.
Polanco, yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. Hey, John, thanks for being here. Always fun to catch up with you. Thanks for all your work on getting the Thon ready and all of the other TBTB biz.
Yeah, absolutely. Nixon 5.
Nixon 5. Go eat a bagel.
My frog is green.
There you go. That's going to do it for this broadcast week, but we will be back here on Monday with more Imaginary Radio for all of you. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. Go USA. I know you don't love me saying that on this show, Andrew, but it's specific to soccer, okay? And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.